That's any time you can still get pills. I'm aiming for wigs, so I'm aiming to kill. Set up in the men's, don't give a fuck, you can still get drilled. All I wanna do is crush that porn. My niggas them told me make peace before you go to war. I said fuck that, I wanna drill now and then drill some more. Smoke my man in the face, yeah that point got scored. Couldn't give a toss about law. Niggas no CP. More time if it was done by the 7, it was done by me. I ride for my G's, put my heart on the streets. So if you see me, that's not my teeth. So chat tough and I'm spinning round. Ask the ops how that spin the sounds. When I spin the banks, try and know that's a nigga down. And where I'm from, we always know to keep things around. All the risks that the team be taking. That's why my nigga Nero's money.
Salute all. We've got in the house. Mike, I've sent you a link, bro, if you're there. I've already sent it to you. Just get it up. Hey up, Stormy. Do you want a link, Stormy? I didn't know if you'd be around. My Kingdom and States, bro. Salute to you, Stormy. I'll send you a link. If you want to get on, you're more than welcome. You know that. I'll shoot you a link now. What the hell's going on here? If you're still there, I've sent you a link, Stormy. Right, I'll kick off talking about the fight tomorrow. I'm at home, but listening on my phone while I'm out. Yeah, no, okay, Stormy, no worries, bro. Here he is, Mr. Johnson.
What it do? What it do?
All right, Mike.
Oh, nothing much, man. Just chilling.
I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get set up properly.
Oh, all right, not bad. Yeah, okay, Stormy, no worries, bro. Thanks for popping in anyway and listening. Right, Mike, I'm going to kick off talking. I've got a few things written down and then whatever you want to talk about, bro. I want to talk about this fight tomorrow. The Martinez fight and the Josh Warrington fight. Well, Magic Man, salute to you, bro. Been looking forward to tonight. Did you see Frank and Dylan's lawyer? Yeah, I'm going to talk about that as well. Volts, the good brother. Salute to you, Volts UK. I'll bring that up, Will. That can be a topic we can talk about. Right, Mike, just quickly burn through this, bro. What do you think of this fight tomorrow, Mike? I'm racking my head here. I can't work out how Josh Warrington's ended up fighting Kiko Martinez for his old belt instead of Kid Galahad. Kid Galahad just, I don't know, is it a mandatory fight or is Kid Galahad just not interested in fighting Martinez after he got knocked out off him? And same for Josh Warrington. Why is he not fighting Maurizio Lara for a third time to put their fight to bed? I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but I just don't understand how Kid Galahad's not fighting Kiko Martinez.
Well, it could just be one of those things like they always do, like hold off for another day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could just be one of them type of things. But all in all, for Josh Warrington and stuff like that, I think it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be worth people talking about and stuff like that. I think it's worth tuning in, but it's just one of those things, man. Like people, they just keep making these weird ass fucking fights over and over again, and expecting people like me and you to show up, you know. But
yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, I don't blame them. taking the fight.
No,
You
no.
know,
He's
some of
just
these guys they get like a little bit. It seems like sometimes they just get a little bit, you know, burnt out. They
yeah,
can't take the heat. They can't take the pressure of taking these big fights over and over and over again. You know, sometimes they want to relax and take a like a little fucking break. You
yeah,
know, that's what it seems like. Relax, take a little fucking break, get an easy payday, talk about how you working on new things and shit, and then show up in there and look like you ain't worked on shit.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like Volsey's just put, they will probably do Warrington Gallard too if Josh wins. Which that's what I was thinking, Volts. I mean, don't get me wrong. That was the first one was a good fight, but me as a boxing fan, I'm like, hang on a minute. If that does happen, you two have got you two have got unfinished business with two previous opponents. What both beat you. You know, don't get me like I say. Don't get me wrong. I would look forward to the fight, but I would like to see at least maybe not so much Josh Warrington and Maurizio Lara because Lara is that's a very dangerous fight for him. But Kid Galahad, especially in that fight, because he was winning that fight, and then he I don't know what happened. He took his eye off the ball, and then he got the rug snatched from underneath him.
Hmm.
So and I just think that's a bit like swerving both the fighters, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But
pretty much.
hey yo, never
Let me
mind.
take this fight and we could work off what Kid Galahad's gonna do next. You know, type of
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, okay. We'll talk. Go off about that now because it's not that big of a Warrington is Shanky. He resorts to dirty tactics when things aren't going his way. Well, you could say that, Stormy, yeah, especially after the headbutt. Because I mean, if you watch the second fight, he got clocked again at the very beginning of the first round off that Maurizio Lara, and he wobbled him again. So it's I don't know, man. To me, I just find like both of the fighters have swerved both of them, and I think that's what they're hoping for that Josh beats Kiko Martinez tomorrow, and then he ends up fighting Kid Guard. Warzone main man. I think Warrington will get it right this time. Yeah, yeah. The thing is though, Warzone, he he's been very inactive. I was looking through his record last night, and he's only had two fights in nearly 3 years. And for someone who was a very active fighter, did that take part in him losing or something? I don't know. But salute to you anyway, Warzone. If you want to get on, bro, you're more than welcome. Right, right. Let's go. I want to talk about this, bro, and then we'll. I've got other things, but we can talk about like what you want to talk about. Let me just find it. It's not there. I want to talk about this. This was making me laugh today, right? Oh, salute Warzone. Yeah, this was making me laugh today, right? These two are set to fight, yeah? You've got one who's been holding that WBA belt hostage for like nearly as long as Dylan White reckons he's been mandatory. Don King hasn't Warrington already beat Kiko? Yeah, he has. He has. He did. He beat him on a majority decision vaults back in 2017 or 2018. So yeah, you're right. He did beat him. So anyway, right, Mike, you these two are. I think the fight's signed and everything is signed to fight. Don King won the purse bid, so Fish Eyes is now in the hands of Don King. But shout out to Boxing Square because he did a video on this. Don King now has come out and said that he's going to take the WBA to court because he thinks that the purse should be 75-25, and Boxing Square was saying, well, hang on a minute, okay, he's got the belt which he thought a washed. Did he beat Stavern for it? I can't remember. But if you look at the two records of the two,
I forget who he beat, but it ain't worth mentioning.
yeah, that's what I mean. Warzone's what, Don King's still alive. Yeah, he's like Pamper Bob, isn't he? They keep going forever. When exactly, Will Magic Man, exactly. When Don King wins a purse bid, expect trouble. Exactly. Well, this is what Boxing Squad was saying today. He was saying Don King won the purse bid, and then all of a sudden, he's saying he's taking the WBA to court because it should be 75% Trevor Bryan and only 25% Daniel Dubois. But the thing is, Trevor Bryan couldn't sell a seat in a flipping phone booth, could he? He couldn't sell out a phone booth, let alone sell out a boxing arena. Daniel Dubois is a bigger name and has got better fighters on his resume. Ty, I've sent you a link, bro, if you want to get on. I've already sent it you. So, do you think this fight will go ahead, Mike, or do you think it'll just be BS? I mean, do you know what? If I was Daniel Dubois and on art, Mike, I would just take the fight anyway, knock him out, and then get the belt. And then at least that makes you a mandatory for the WBA Super, doesn't it?
Well, this is one of the things that people have to. I mean, that I hope that people take into account, and I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, just about.
So, with boxers, how many times do you have to keep taking a pay cut to where you say enough is enough? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
this is why things happen like this. Fighters been taking pay cuts, and possibly because it's their fault with their promoters or what deal they have and stuff like that. But at some point, enough just got to be enough. Also, I don't know, when Don King's putting up the money. Frank Warren bid at 2, Don King bid at 3. And Frank Warren's putting up the money. And depending on where the fight happens, if the fight happens over here in America, nobody knows who Daniel Dubois is. Nobody knows who Trevor Bryan is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a thing of who's is who's, unless you're hardcore boxing fans. But it takes two to tango, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I always say that this is what grown men do. They fight for what they believe in, and they fight for what they believe that they can earn. And that's what Don King is doing. Same thing with Dillian White did. He thought he could win, and they said no. In this case, I don't see the court siding with Don King because the way these sanctioned bodies work and their rules and regulations. Because that's what they're gonna have to deal with when it comes to this money. And ain't nobody, and has Brian ever been paid $1 million, $2 million, $3 million for one fight?
Exactly, Mike.
And the same thing with Daniel Dubois. Even if you say, well, he's going to be fighting another market and this and the third, but he can spend that money or threaten the sanctioned body to take him to court and have them figure it out, and they might not be able to afford it. You know what I'm saying? Or just so they can spend some money, try to strong arm them one time. But he's not going to. I don't see him winning this. It's absurd. I don't think any fighter out there that's fighting on a championship title, like the way Dillian White and Tyson Fury, and including with this, to get 20%. Yeah. Especially when we're not talking about 100 million.
Well, that's what I mean, Mike. End of the day, right, bro? Let's keep it real, right? none of them have got like massive resumes of knocking out fucking ex-world champions and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Daniel Dubois has got a better resume than Trevor Bryan. Trevor Bryan, I can't even remember last time he fought.
Well, laws. See, this it's not based off. This is not the 20% is not is just based off a purse. It's not based off of accolades or whoever you
No,
fought.
I know that.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I know that. But the thing is, some of it is to do with that as well. But I know what you're saying. But none of them can sell out of like massive arenas. To be honest, can they?
No.
But do you know what, Mike? Though, like Warzone said, he should definitely go after that belt. If I was Daniel Dubois, I would go after it, and I wouldn't be asked about what I got. I'd go in there, flatline him, get the belt. That catapults him straight up there within, hopefully, in the next year or two for a shot at a world title. And he's done it by not being greedy, and taking that fight. But Trevor Bryan, I don't know, he's a bum, man. I wouldn't say he's a bum, but I mean, I don't know, mate. Don't know. But like Will Magic Man said, Don King's always still to this day causing trouble.
Well, I wouldn't say he's causing trouble. He just is, look, at the end of the day, it's just business, baby.
Oh no.
It's just business. And it's the same thing with Dillian White and all the other shit. It's just business. Because at the end of the day, if you feel that you should get this and the laws and the regulations out there say this is how you can go about it to this is what's afforded to you by law if you want to contest it, that's what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And not but the flip side to that is, I don't want to go on a tangent but a lot of these fighters don't have that option. Mr. Fox don't have that option to be spending all this money on lawyers to get his W back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these fighters don't have that shit. And if I was if I was a fighter that made $1 million or a couple $1 million, if I was wrong, that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm lawyering up and we riding on y'all because it sets precedents for a lot of things with these lawsuits that's been happening frequently now. Triple G even suing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these fighters got to start suing these sanctioning bodies, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just straight up.
Well, we all know that the WBC and the WBA, even the WBO, they're all corrupt. Like I've always stated, Mike, the only belt what I deem a legit belt now is the IBF, because they're really the only ones what still sort of stick by the rules. If you're due to fight a mandatory and you don't fight them, man, they don't think twice about it.
Well, hold up. Who got that? What belt does Triple G got?
I think he has got the IBF on him, mate.
And he ain't fought how long?
Well, that's a very good point as well, because normally the IBF are like that. If you're not a consistent fighter or you're not fighting regularly, they will strip you, won't they?
I don't know. Let's see what somebody say in the comments, because what belt he got. I can't remember. I can't remember what belt he got, but it's something.
He's got the because he beat Uzi, didn't he? Oh God, what's his name? Didn't they both fight for it? Not Branchek. What's his frigging name? The guy who they said he ducked for quite a few years.
I mean, he's been a very long time ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Vultz is asked, what network is Don King fighting under?
Oh, well, Don King got his own network.
Yeah, that's what ties to.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like Don King Promotions, something. He got his own website. They run their own pay-per-views off of there. I bought somebody else's pay-per-view off of there a while back. I forget who it was. It was a nice little night of boxing. Just to watch a Don King card and just to see who, I forget which one it was, but anyways, he has his own thing, you know what I'm saying? But And
Yeah.
but the flip side to that, having his own thing, he can dictate the prices and stuff like that. And then not only that, uh, uh, if any one of these networks want to pick up the fight and give him some money for it, he could get that. You know what I'm saying? He could get his at least $2 million back, and then get the rest off of international and ticket sales or whatever the case may be. He can make some money,
Yeah.
and that's probably what he's looking for, some donors.
Yeah, Warzone said Fox at the what's he put? Present net parent network. God, I need glasses. Network is Fox. Right, okay. Right, Mike. Is there anything you want to talk about? Because I've got other things, but I'd like to hear what you've got to say about other things. Um,
Nah, we can keep it going, and we can blend it in here and there if you get tired.
Okay, then let's talk about. I've just been reading online.
Can you hear me, Laws?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's better.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. I've just been reading online that Dillian White's lawyers come out and said that they don't think this fight's going to be going ahead with Tyson Fury.
His lawyer said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember seeing his lawyer saying that, but if his lawyer said, if his lawyer is saying that, then I believe that that's on the Frank Warren and Bob Arum side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
go on.
Did you watch the interview?
No, I've just seen that Bricktop's done he's done an interview, anti-fish eyes, and come out.
Yeah, so the lawyer and Frank Warren were going back and forth on Sports Talk. Happened to catch it. This is my thing, when you're up there speaking to an audience and stuff like that, you don't leave bits and pieces out when you're trying to speak, because what happens is you could have got your shit out a long time ago, and that's what that lawyer could have did. But he talked about Frank Warren breaching the non-disclosure agreement. Frank Warren said that, well, what's up with the Dillian White showing up, breach of contract with the whole, because he read the contract and basically said both fighters will, I forget the terms, but basically, promote the fight. And the lawyer said that the lawyer's return was, well, what does it mean by reasonably promote the fight? What does that mean? And I know what the lawyer is saying, but the lawyer is saying is basically like, if you want to go to court, that's for the court to decide, not you. And then the lawyer goes into the escrow part and starts saying that, well, we agreed that the money's supposed to be in escrow. And then Frank Warren said that's not in the contract. Then the lawyer said, well, me and your son talked about it, and we said that we was going to make that happen, that before the fight, the money was going to be in escrow. Escrow is pretty a common thing when it comes to fights, unless you're looking for the back end money to come in and pay the fighters.
Yeah.
And the lawyer basically said, well, I got text messages from me and your son, because obviously it sounded like the lawyer and the son and Frank Warren's son was doing all the paperwork. It wasn't Frank Warren. And the lawyer basically said, hey, your son, me and him agreed on this on the escrow and the text message, and he read it. And basically, at the end of the day, if you're talking about lawsuits and stuff like that, if you say you're going to do something in principle in a fucking text message or email and you don't fucking do it,
Yeah.
You could probably be buying by that shit, you know, but that's for the courts to decide. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
And then
understand that. Yeah.
Frank Warren said, "Well, what's up with you? What's up with Dillian White saying you don't have the rights to use my picture?" And the lawyer said, "No, because you guys used the wrong picture, and you guys are supposed to clear what picture you use before you make the promos." Which makes sense because if that's the case, you can use any picture and that a fighter might not like. You know, he might want the photo to be in a certain angle. He might want a little bit more skin to be smoothened out. He might want his skin to look like it got a little bit more grease on it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but
Yeah.
but all in all, that back and forth between them two, it basically sounded like a whole bunch of petty shit. The lawyer did tell us that Dillian White was moving forward with the fight, regardless of the situations that was going on. But all in all, between the two, between Frank Warren and Fish Eyes and the lawyer, that's all that shit's for the court to decide. We could say who's at fault and who's not at fault, but it's the courts, man.
Yeah.
And but guess what? I went on the Triple B website today.
Yeah.
And I typed in Tyson Fury. I don't see a license. Now, that could mean that the system's either not updated or he don't have a license.
Do you know what, Mike? Porky's Corners keeps saying this fight's not. He's been saying from day one this fight ain't happening. Let me just read a few comments.
Hold up, Ross. See, that could be another reason why the lawyer wants that money in escrow. Because if that money is not in fucking escrow and Tyson Fury can't get a fucking license, Tyson Fury can run off with the motherfucking money. And then they will have to go to the court system and all that other shit to get that money. What the talk show host said in there was inaccurate. When he said that if you wanted something in escrow, then you were supposed to make it. That's not the case. When Deontay Wilder versus Povetkin happened, what basically happens is both parties have to set the escrow up together. You know why both parties have to set the escrow together? Because if both parties didn't set that escrow together, that one who set the escrow up could just take the fucking money.
Yeah.
The reason why Deontay Wilder couldn't take the money out when Povetkin popped was because it took two of them to get the money.
Yeah. Well, just let me say this, like Stormy's just said, always some bullshit when Fury's involved. Well, this is what I'm going to say, Mike. If, like you say, just let me say this, mate. If you think about it, right, I thought a long time ago something's not right about this fight because it took Dillian White to the very, very, very last minute of the last day. To be fair, I think it even went over the time that he was due to sign the contract.
It was an hour before.
Oh, okay, all right. So it was an hour before he was due to run out of date. The man doesn't turn up for the press conference. There's always been speculation. He never did no interviews leading up to this fight. What the fuck is going on? And now you've got the lawyer going on about all this shit. Just let me say, salute Dre. Hello, Los D. How you doing? Salute to me. Yeah, salute to you, you dig? Yeah, I hope you're good out there in the DMV, Dre. Salute to you, bro. I hope you're well, my good brother.
What's going on, Tyrone and Stormy? What's happening?
Yeah. Salute to you all in the chat. Will, Magic Man, everyone.
Willie.
Okay. Yeah, so...
Voti.
I want to talk about Gambosis and Devin.
But hold up. We're going to get into that.
I'm still talking about this.
Okay, go ahead, Loss.
Something's been racking my brain for a long time about this, Mike.
That's the oxtails.
You know, like Stormy said, there's always some kind of BS. There's something definitely happening with what's Tyrone put. I don't care who fights Mr. Fury as long as they beat him. Why can't guys figure this equation out? Has to be the second most overrated fighter in boxing. I stand by my words 3 years ago. Yeah, he's always said that. Tyrone has. World Magic Man's he has always said that. Well, do you know what, mate? I was going back into of a knobhead in this week over Tyson Fury, prime Tyson Fury versus prime Muhammad Ali, and some of the comments what I read, he had me creased up. I was laughing my head off. I reckon those 3 fights with Wilder took a lot out of Fury, both mentally and physically. I'm wondering if he's on the decline and he doesn't come in at his best, White could win. Well, yeah, he definitely could. He's on about retiring, but I don't believe that. I think
Well,
that's a load of bollocks.
well. If I was a cheater, I try to get out. I try to get out on top as well. If I was a cheater, you know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck would you want to stick around and fuck around and lose when you got what you wanted?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, Mike, the interview what I watched of him, he was saying, "I've made that much money, and maybe would come back." Straight fighter, salute to you, bro. Salute, Josh. Yeah, salute to you, Dre. I watched an interview with him not so long ago with Carl Frampton. It was on BT Sports, and Carl Frampton was interviewing him, and he was saying, "Yeah, definitely after this fight with Dillian White, I'm retiring. That's it, done." He said, "I don't need to make any money. I've made me money. I've conquered America. I've conquered Germany. There's no other heavyweight out there to beat me." And I was like, "Hang on a minute. There's fucking AJ fight, the Usyk. There's 3 or 4 big fights before you can retire." And I was just thinking, something's not right with this guy.
I tell you what's not right. He's a fucking liar. Hold up.
Yeah.
He's a fucking liar because at the end of the day, let me tell you something. You say, you come from a bunch of fighting men and stuff like that, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. There's been plethora of fighters that went past their expiration date on top. You know what I'm saying? And the last one was Klitschko. Well, he didn't leave on top, but technically, still he kind of left on top because, there's still an asterisk on that fight, whether or not, your boy was on the juice. But
yeah.
But when you look at it, if no athlete on the face of this planet, football, basketball, it's very minimal guys that are elite, that are on top, that get out of the fucking game before they prime.
Said Andre Ward. He's going to try and do an Andre Ward.
You know what I'm saying? Before they prime. But at least Andre Ward had a fucking injury. At least he had an injury that he didn't think that he could fucking sit up over here and fight all these guys with. You know what I'm saying? But Tyson Fury ain't got shit but staying off the bottle, hookers, and cocaine. Fury comes from a long line of men who treat their women like shit, and that's probably possible. We heard what he said, but what I'm saying is that when everybody who left the sport before they prime or while they was in their prime either came back or regretted it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, like Mayweather. Even how many times did he retire before he officially retired? I know he retired before the Ricky Hatton fight, and he retired again after the Hatton fight, and still carried on fighting. So yeah, good point there, Michael. Good point.
Yeah, it's like this. This is why I put it. It's not about. It's about like you've been fighting all these years. Some part of you, this is just what's in it, and you could try to kick it how you want to and stuff like that, but some part of you is always going to be calling you to come back. Even if you don't want to come back, and that's how you feel. Eventually, you're gonna see one fucking fight, and you're gonna get that fucking itch, and you're gonna be like, "Damn,
Yeah, totally agree there, Mike.
And he
It's
ain't
not
done
something.
shit.
It's
He
not
ain't
something you just let go of just like that, is it?
no, no.
Especially when there's big fights still out there for you.
But he runs his mouth and he runs his. See, this is the thing. It's like he runs his mouth because he's on top. You know what I'm saying? He can say everything because he's on top and people will believe him because it sounds good and all that shit. But you're on top. He won't be saying this shit if Deontay Wilder whooped his ass. You
Mike,
know what I'm saying?
listen, bro. That's what my argument is with a lot of these boxers. They come out and they say shit, and people just fucking fall into a daze and just they're memorised by it. I was talking to a lad yesterday at work about him, and a plasterer called Phil from Manchester, and he's a sound lad, Phil, but the shit what was reeling off his tongue. I was like, Phil, if only you fucking really know the ins and outs of fucking boxing. I mean, he's like, oh, he's the best fighter I've seen in my era. I was like, well, how old are you? He said, 28. I was like, you're probably thinking he's the best boxer of your era. What's in a very poor era? A very poor era.
Yes, it is.
And I don't think he's the best boxer. I've got nothing against Tyson Fury, but what I'm trying to say is, like you said, Mike, he's a liar. That's a known fact. The man's a liar. He's a pad cheat. That's a known fact. But he has got skills, and the man can fight. Can't take that away from him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But what I'm saying, Mike, is I get angry like what Tyrone's just, but I get triggered when people say that. Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know what he's on about what I'm saying, but people read, like you just said, Mike, these boxers, right, they come out and say shit on social media, and an hardcore fan knows that they're talking shite or they're lying, but a casual does, and it seems to me these days that the casuals they outweigh. There's more casual fans than there is hardcore boxing fans.
Mm.
And the casuals a fighter can say something and they just get memorized by what fighters say.
Laws is some of the hardcore fans that do that too.
Yes, I'm not disputing that, Mike. Yeah, I agree there, Mike. I'm not disputing that. I mean, like I say, I went on a Facebook website the other day on Facebook and I saw it was Into a Boxing, it's called. He put up a picture of prime Muhammad Ali versus, it was fantasy fight, that's what it was called, a prime Muhammad Ali versus a prime Tyson Fury. And I only read like fucking 5, 6, 7 comments, and I'd seen enough because the actual shit what people were putting. Yeah, one guy put Muhammad Ali. He struggled with Kenny Norton. He struggled with George Foreman, and he wouldn't have he would struggle with Tyson Fury's sheer size, footwork, speed, and ring IQ. And I thought, he struggled with George Foreman. What fucking planet are you on? The man was fucking towards the end of his career and he still fucking sat there on
with Parkinson's.
Yeah, and sat there on the ropes and still knocked out a prime George Foreman. What do you think a Ken Norton would have wiped the floor with fucking Tyson Fury? Kenny Norton would have knocked him out. Leon Spinks would have knocked him out. The fighters of today can't even dare go near the fucking fighters from that era. You know, Smoking Joe Frazier. And he struggled with a poor Larry Holmes. I'm like, fucking hell, these people, man. Did he not realise that Muhammad Ali was washed up when he fought Larry Holmes?
This is what I say to people. You know, the problem with a lot of these fighters is that they give Tyson Fury too much motherfucking respect. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about being a bully. It's not about being intimidated. It's about the game plan coming into the fight. They're giving the dude too much respect. With Tyson Fury, you cannot wait for this guy to throw a jab. You can't wait for him to throw a hook. You can't wait for him to throw elbows, to hug. you got to get him before he get off first. And the reason why that is because that when you look at the fight with Otto Wallin and Tyson Fury, you see it.
Yeah.
You notice you see it.
Wallin again.
And you see it. And partially because of that, he thought that Otto Wallin was just going to sit there, come in there, and just he'll be able to do what he wants to do with him because Otto Wallin was going to take his fucking time. Mm-hmm. You can't. Some fighters you can take your time with, but some fighters you can't sit there and just be shuffling from side to side and thinking that you could just wait for an opening. You have to. Some of these fighters out here, you're just going to have to bring your ass.
Well, Mike, it's very funny after the Otto Wallin. I mean, this sounds like I'm hating on him. I'm not hating on him. I'm just trying to point out facts to fucking dumbass casual fans that this guy isn't the best boxer since fucking sliced bread. And to compare him to fighters from them Ali days were even, how dare you? How fucking dare you? None of these heavyweights would have ever lasted with any of them fighters from them days.
Nah.
No fucking way. Guys are gaining weight to fight him, convincing themselves that they can punch when he can't. What's wrong with it? Exactly, Ty?
Well, it's not even the gaining weight part, because the gaining weight part it had no bearing. The gaining weight part with Wilder and Fury had no bearing. The dude had like 6 fucking months, more than 6 fucking months to go into a fight with the guy. You know,
get your ass on this show, man. I've sent you
after you put your 10, 15 fucking pounds on, you're doing X amount of rounds in the gym and stuff like that. You're telling yourself by doing X amount of rounds in the gym that at the weight that you got, you're good to go. And that's what always fucking happens. The problem is when they get in the ring is that they don't understand that because they're heavier, that they don't need to be throwing all these fucking haymakers.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? You don't got to throw all these fucking haymakers. All these fighters got to really do in the heavyweight division is break them. Who the fuck is breaking their fighters down? The only one that's doing is Tyson Fury, partially because he wrestles. But none of these fighters out here are systematically really breaking these fighters down. Because if you throw in haymakers as a heavyweight fighter, every single fucking punch, how long do you think you're going to fucking last?
Exactly. Mike, you only have to put it in perspective of like even the heavyweights from the 90s, from Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield's days, Mike Tyson days. Evander Holyfield was a small heavyweight. And the heavyweights are a bit bigger than what they were back in Ali's days and their days, But do you not think that Evander Holyfield would have been? He'd have just. God knows what he would have done to these fighters of today.
Well, I tell you what.
Because let me finish this, man.
Go ahead.
The casuals seem to think that the bigger the person, the more harder they are to beat, and that's just not fucking true. The old famous saying is, the bigger they are, the easier they fall. That, in my eyes, is more true than the bigger they are, the harder they are to beat.
Well, I think 30, 40 years ago, when you look at the heavyweight division or as boxing as a whole, I think they did a very good job on field study with their opponents. I think they did a very good job on exploiting their opponent's weaknesses and actually working on that shit in the gym. And it shows from all weight classes that a lot of these fighters out here are coming up with game plans, but not coming up with the right game plans to exploit their opponents. And when I look at like, let's say for instance, the Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez fight, right? Okay. Everybody named Mama knows that this guy Lomachenko picks and chooses
this is where I'm going to go.
what part of the round is he going to rest? What part of the round is he going to dance? What part of the round is he going to give out a so-called matrix offensive stance? And the other fighter, when you look at it, you know, they didn't really capitalize off of that. Only thing they did was, if you actually go back and look at it, is trail him and fight, because when he did do that offensive stance, he was getting caught. The only person that beat Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez was Lomachenko.
Yeah. Excellent, Will. Excellent, Will, Magic Man. There you go.
Yeah.
There's a great comment. Valuev was a classic example of what you've just said, Loz. Hey, beat him, and exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's spot on. That, Will.
You could gain the weight, but who are you fucking sparring in the gym to gain weight to say that you could go 15, 20 rounds in the gym? See what I'm saying? Because if you're just fighting any Joe fucking Blow and he's not doing what your opponent is going to do with you, who weighs 30 fucking pounds on your ass, then it doesn't make any sense to say that you can do it. But you say you could do it because you've been doing it, but you didn't do it with that extra 10, 50, whatever it was, against somebody that weighs 30 pounds heavier than you that's going to wrestle.
Yeah. Just quickly, just let me say this to Dre's finest salute, Dre. He's put, hey, Loz, I hope to see you later. Talk to you later, my good brother. Peace and love, you dig. Yes. Dig to you. Salute, Dre. Stay safe out there, my good friend. My good brother, stay safe. Yeah, I agree, Mike. Tyrone, what you got to say, bro? Because I know you're itching to get off the firing block.
I mean, I'm just like really a broken record at this point. I basically annoy everybody off of this subject, really. I mean, it's just, it speaks for itself. I mean, everybody for years. I mean, I looked through a forum from like 12 years ago when guys, me on Fury is like this. These people Wilder, like there are people who are waiting for Wilder to lose since 2012 for some of the same reasons, and they saw it coming. So hopefully mine comes sooner with this. I mean, listen, Tyson, he was decent like 8 years ago, right? But the thing is, when he was decent, they thought he was trash, and now when he's trash, they think he's God. I mean, it makes no sense at all. I mean, he doesn't have his legs anymore. Every year, his legs, if you see his feet, he gets even more and more bow-legged. I mean, they keep coming inward. His knees are being knock-kneed every year. Soon, like he's gonna crumple like a tower.
I don't think he's trash, Ty. Me, I've got nothing against him or any of these heavyweights. I don't think he's trash. I just don't think he's as good as what people make out he is.
That's what I've been pushing, but I mean nobody wants to hear it. I mean they've already anointed him this because he beat our guy. I mean, listen, if you had Malik in your corner, I mean it was just going to be there's so many things that went wrong. It's too much to go into, but it's just a real shame that this farce is going on. Like he is kind of like a Cinderella man. I think the only real out of the ordinary aspect that he has, I think, is the fact that he can recover. That's pretty alien. But other than that,
take that away from him.
Yeah, that's alien. That's
he got put on his arse 4 times and he still managed to get up.
Yeah, that's special. But other than that, I mean, I don't think he moves well going forward. That's not even his game. He admits that. I mean, the punches don't really look clean. They're not thrown with proper technique. I mean, he's winging a lot of things, and he does his
that jerky, like what Mike says. That shit.
It's just, it's like how
that's overrated. That jerky stuff. I mean,
it's so overrated, man.
Well, it's not overrated because it's not overrated, and this is the reason why I say it's not overrated because you know when you're a fighter. right? You have to perfect who you are, you know. And a lot of fighters ain't done that. They ain't perfected what type of fighter they are. Every aspect of what Tyson Fury does, he's perfected that for who he is. See what I'm saying? And a lot of fighters ain't done that, and you can't contest that because it goes along with the consistency of his career. But that's the reason why I say is that when you're 7 foot tall like that, and you know how to place your feet, you know how to grab, you know how to slap people's punches down to keep them to smother their punches and stuff like that. You know, he's perfected all of that, and a lot of fighters out there they haven't figured out how to give it to him with what they perfected for who they are as a fighter. And that's what the problem is, because you can have good spurts in the fight, but Fury overall has perfected who he is from round 1 to round 12 consistently. You see what I'm saying? He's always been hittable. He's all from the head to the shoulders to the knees and toes. He's always been hittable. But the thing about it is like what y'all saying is his style is actually, and his boxing abilities is actually not of what we seen from regulars 40 years ago.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean,
It's just not.
No, not at all. I mean, you look at him physically. Not even that physical. Not even by the look physical. Just
the guy can box for a big dude. You know what I mean?
yeah, but other than that, people talk about the speed and all this. Is he really that much faster than the mailman? On my local street who used to play ball in college but couldn't be pro.
Got an echo time.
Oh, shoot.
No, I am just clear.
Well, someone's got an echo and it's like.
It was probably me, but Tyrone, where you go?
Yeah, I'm here.
It's on your end, Mike. It's like, don't know.
Go ahead, Tyrone.
Yeah, what I'm saying is he's not any faster or stronger. He's actually weaker than the mailman who puts in the stuff in my mailboxes, and he used to play ball a couple years ago at college, but things just didn't pan out. I mean, he's a big lump, about 6'9", and he's very friendly, but I mean, he's just a big for nothing. I mean, just because you're big doesn't mean you're good. And I think exactly, Laws, you were talking about this a couple minutes ago, that's what they've put onto this guy. I mean, he's not much. He's faster than Valuev, a lot faster, but I don't see I mean, there are real talents in boxing, and it's being overshadowed by a guy like him, who he himself will admit isn't very good. He will tell you, listen, if you ask him straight up and down, are you that good? Honestly, he'll be like, and he's somebody who knows boxing. He knows he isn't.
Yeah. Well, like I say, to wrap it up, because there's other things I want to move on and talk about, but for me personally, I think he's a good boxer for a big dude. But
yeah.
But he ain't no fucking like for me. When I read people's comments, stupid comments saying his ring IQ and his footwork and is like out of this world. I've never seen an heavyweight like it. I just think, well, you obviously just, I don't know, mate. You don't watch boxing because without this sounding like hate, I agree with what Tyrone says. I don't think I think he's overrated. I think the media, the media. If you look back at a bit like his dad, I'm not saying he like his dad, but I watched the program.
Shit, he fights just like him. Laws, pay attention. He fights just like his daddy.
Yeah, but I mean, the BT did a program about his dad being this, and he did a book. I think it's a book or video about his dad. But what was he called now? There's a picture of him like in the woods, and his dad was like this, like bare knuckle. One. Yeah, like he'd have like he was brought up bare knuckle fighting, and he's got like not hundreds of years, but years and years of like through his family of being bare knuckle fighters, and his dad was a bare knuckle fighter turned boxer. There's actually no video footage of his dad ever being a bare knuckle fighter. And
well, he said that he had a bare knuckle fight for 100,000 pounds or something like that.
He had 100 fights and won them all.
You know what, Laws? I said that shit like months ago, and to folks, and people just blew me off. But it makes perfect sense. Like, who the fuck knows this guy? Who? Like, that's what I said. Is like, who out there has fought him?
Yeah,
because when he was called out, on Porky, because when he was called out on Porky, and Porky did the interview inside the ring, nice little professional looking interview inside the ring with the guy that wants a piece of fucking John Fury's ass.
Yeah,
you don't hear nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't hear nothing about it. He's running. Hell, fucking Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. got in the fucking ring. You know what I'm saying? It's like your whole persona is about poking somebody's eyes out in a fight. But at the end of the day, that's not a part of bare knuckles fight. That's a part of you was getting your fucking ass whooped, and that's probably the only thing you could do.
And the guy was a whole foot shorter than him too, apparently. I mean, they all do it. He lies about having fights for almost $500,000, $250,000 or whatever it was, pounds on bare knuckle, but that never happened. I mean, his son always talks about how he's depressed and how that he drove his Lamborghini like almost 120 miles down this road and miraculously stopped before running out of control. But there's no road in that area where you can get that fast that quickly. I mean, it just makes no sense. I mean, the other son talks about flying private, but they have him in Spirit Airlines as well. I mean, the whole family is just full of lies.
Give his money to charity after that first Deontay Wilder fight.
Yeah, he said that he gave his whole purse, and that never happened. No, the thing was, they asked him. He said, "I'll give my purse to charity." And then after the fight, did you give it? He said, "Where I give my money is none of your business." And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. I don't blame him for a lot of that stuff, and the reason why I don't blame him for a lot of that stuff is because all it is just smoke and mirrors and a whole bunch of shoe shining, basically, and that if people are not out here smart enough to see that shit and grasp the concept of that, they're trying to sell you something. Yeah. They're trying to sell you a product, and the product is Tyson Fury in a ring. So then what they try to do is they try to build this personality around it. And the personality around it is that since he's beat everybody, he's this big, strong, tall guy who's out of shape, who does cocaine and fuck hookers and all this other shit. And can't nobody stop him from doing what he says he can do. And that's what that's what they trying to sell you. And that's the reason why Big John Fury had to go up to that dude and get on whatever his name was when he said that Tommy Fury would get his ass whooped because he was mad that the man had the nerve to give his own fucking truthful opinion.
He told him he took off for him to go on.
Say this just quickly.
Yeah,
absolutely bang on, Mike. What you've just said, because they did the same shit with Anthony Joshua, and look how everyone turned on him. Everyone turned on him. They did the same shit with Anthony Joshua. They painted this humble guy, this big, good-looking guy with the muscles, and he's an excellent boxer, and this, that, and the other. And he lives a clean life and all that. And look how they turned on him, Mike.
Clean my ass.
People have turned on him now. He's a bum. Anyone who I ever asked to talk to about Joshua, I can actually go to work now and ask several people about Joshua. Excuse me. If I ask 10 people about Anthony Joshua, just even casual regular fans, I could guarantee you 8 of them would say he's a fucking bum. He was a fraud. He was this, that, and the other. Eddie Hearn sold us this picture of him. See what I mean, Mike? Absolutely bang on what you just said about Tyson Fury. I agree with you 100%. Bruce, go, salute to you, bro.
That's why I
Bruce?
hope whoever
Salute,
fights
OG.
him wins, because it'll even the division out. It'll fix things. You know, when they all lose, then they'll have incentive to fight each other. If they all lose, if they've all lost, they've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, you're right, Tyrone,
If there's
because
a guy on top who isn't supposed to be there and is getting away with everything. I haven't seen a guy in a while who's been on thin ice for as long as this guy's been. I mean, getting dropped and stopped basically by some of these people, but he just, I mean, he pulls a 20 every time. You know, he's 21 every time. He pulls the ace out of the hole. I don't know how he does it, and it's not even so much his skill. It's just think it's divine. I don't know, whatever it just goes his way, and people are mistaking that for, you know, him being lucky, for him being actually good.
Well, it's the same thing with Canelo Alvarez, though, isn't he?
yeah,
You know,
pretty much.
it's pretty much the same thing. Don't get me wrong, Canelo can fight. The man can fight. I like Canelo. But he cleared out a weak division. I said from day one, Caleb Plant would be
Trash.
probably him or Billy Joe Saunders would be probably the only ones what would give him a fight. David Benavidez was taken out of the equation after he got stripped of his title. And it's very funny, after David Benavidez got stripped of his title, Canelo Alvarez decides to go after the rest of, well, didn't Solomon?
They were on
Give him
the
the belt.
phone the moment he had trouble. The first weigh-in, he was fighting a bum, not a bum, but Romer Angulo, a guy he wasn't supposed to fight in a defense. So the moment
when
he has, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when David Benavidez lost his belt the second time on the scales, right?
Yeah.
Didn't the WBC just give Canelo the belt, or did he have to fight for the belt?
He fought Smith for the. They gave that fight for the fight. They were on the phone with him. They were on the phone with the WBC the moment he missed weight the first time.
Pretty much.
Pretty
day, much.
They were on the phone immediately to say, if he doesn't make weight the second attempt, strip him and give us the fight.
Pretty much.
And that day, because it came out the next day that they were going to do that.
And the most disgusting and the most disgusting thing about that is, just because he missed weight on a motherfucking scale doesn't mean the motherfucker can't box. You know what I'm saying? That's what the fucked up part about it is that, you know, the dude, this is my thing with Ken Bleederall Alvarez. This is my thing. Like, so first of all, you know, how can anybody that got their ass whooped by Floyd Mayweather make their own claim to fucking fame? You see what I'm saying? How can anybody that got their ass whooped by Floyd Mayweather can make a claim to fame to where they can erase all of that and make their own legacy by it? But hold up. The correct way would have been to get rid of Crawford, to get rid of Spence, to get rid of both Charlos, to get rid of Benavidez, to get rid of Danny Garcia, to get rid of Berterviev, to get rid of all these guys around here. But guess what? That's supposed to be so easy for Canelo to beat, right? Because he has all these belts in multiple weight divisions and stuff like that. He's unified in multiple weight divisions and stuff like that. But he took the most easiest fucking route that he could pick to attempt to be undisputed, to attempt to be unified. Nothing that he's ever done, not one iota that he's ever done that we said that this guy is coming into a 50-50 fight and the first Triple G fight.
You know what, Mike? Right, that's a great point. That.
But now Triple G got gout. Triple G got gout.
But the thing is, though, Mike, if you flip the coin and put it on the other side, though, Mike, I can't hate on Canelo, even though he does get me frustrated for like what you've just said, Mike. He has taken the easy route. But if you think about it the other way, though, Mike, there ain't no other fighters what's even fucking doing that. And why? What I mean by that is not because it's an easy weight, Mike, an easy way. A lot of these fighters, they don't even want to fight the other fighters, Mike. So that's the reason why I give Canelo credit in that way, because at least, okay, yeah, he's done it. I totally agree with what you just said, Mike. He's done it the easy way. He cleared out a weak 168 division. I wouldn't say a weak, but not a stellar fucking 168 division. You
I
know,
mean, if you're
more
last,
dangerous fights at 160 or 154.
yeah, I mean, if your last guy is saying,
Can I say this?
fight, he's
But
like saying,
at the same time, though, Ty, look at all these other fighters like Charlo and that. Who don't want to fucking fight other fighters.
Canelo don't want to fight Charlo, and then
Yeah,
and then
Canelo,
and then and then
Charlo
with
don't want to fight Benavidez.
and then no, I think he would if they work it out. But this is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying, Laws, is that I can give two shits about how he's doing. Hold on, let me rephrase it. As far as Canelo doing what a lot of fighters aren't doing, first of all, I have to say is does those fighters have the same opportunities aligned with them that Canelo Alvarez has? No.
No.
Hold on. Then what I would say is, what is the average fucking fighter doing? Right?
nothing.
Actually, they're trying to. I said average. Average. I didn't say majority. I didn't say some. I said average. Trying to do what Canelo Alvarez is doing. See what I'm saying? Because how many fighters there are? Pretty sure there's 100,000. So now what we go into the now after I said that, the only thing Canelo Alvarez is doing in his career, as far as I'm concerned, is being above average. It's being above average. And the reason why I say that is because if he's out there fighting for belts and not fighting these guys that's around his fucking age that are supposed to be, right, the key players that people know, who know about, that knows is going to bring it to him, he's not fighting them. He's not fighting them. And last thing I would say, when some of these people out here saying about, well, he's unifying, this and the third, blah, 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 he's fought X amount of champions, ex-champions, and this and the third, well, you know what? At the end of the day, I paid for the fight that I want to see. Second of all, does these belts that these champions that has had, did the belt make the champion or did they make that fucking belt? Because at the end of the day, if that belt gives you the power, then you ain't a fucking champion.
Yeah, I can see that, Mike. Yeah. Bruce goes just quickly. Bruce, just put the first letter of your email, bro, and I'll find you.
Because folks should literally want to fight you because you are somebody, not because you have a fucking belt. You could take all these belts. You could take all these belts from all these motherfucking fighters right now, and I guarantee you, everybody would know the key fights to solidify who's number one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see your point, Mike, because the same shit's happening to fucking Devin Haney and George Cambosi, isn't he?
Yeah, I agree with. I think I have to agree on Laws on this one. Everybody wants to fight Canelo for that money, but if he doesn't pick you, what do you do in the meantime? I mean, you look at Charlo at 160. I mean, his first fight at 160 is Highland, who was on one leg, and now he's working a push cart in Argentina. And who else? Hugo Centeno. I mean, he's a bum. I mean, that's a waste of time.
Well,
I mean, that Montiel guy, I could have fought if I trained for 6 months to get me right. I mean, I probably would have given him a run. I mean, Brandon Adams, I mean, he's okay. Derevyanchenko was the only good win at 160, and now he has Sulecki, who would have been a good win had he fought him if he didn't lose twice now to Andrade and Jacobs. I mean, if he didn't lose to Andrade, if he had him in that after Jacobs, that would have been all right. But, I mean, you just can't say, oh, well, he's ducking me. Okay, if he is ducking you, then what? Is it a crime? Should he go to jail? I mean, you have to do something in between time for yourself, not for anybody else. If you're okay with fighting these guys, then that's fine. But if you want to be like Gary Russell instead, Gary Russell refuses to fight unless it's the number one contender that he's forced to, or if it's a unification. He doesn't waste time fighting it comes.
Well, Tyrone, that's not what I'm saying. What I basically said was that at the end of the fucking day, everybody's not gonna get a Canelo fight, right? Anybody who fights Canelo, even if they happen to win, won't get that money that he's getting. They just won't. It's like you beat Canelo, the money that's been given to Canelo, the 32 million, the 40 million, and all that shit, is not going to be transferred to you. You're gonna have to make your own name, your own claim to becoming a prize fighter. If Rocky Fielding was to beat Canelo, right? Let's just say it. Nobody was gonna give Rocky Fielding the next fight 30-something million because they know that at the end of the day, something bad was gonna happen. Nobody's gonna give Danny Jacobs 40-something million for beating after he beats Canelo after that, because he doesn't have that name. And it shows with him fighting Joe Blows by himself. And so basically what I'm saying is not about just getting that Canelo payday. It's about people getting that opportunity to fight for the belts and the the recognition as far as the legacy that Canelo has. That's the problem with these fighters. When they get up there, they think that everybody wants to fight them because of money. Yes, you're right, Tyrone. Some of these cats do really want to fight them just for the goddamn bread because they're gonna get their ass whooped. But some of these guys really want the name and recognition that he has.
I believe really wants that fight more than anyone.
Because if you fight
now after what he did with Benavidez,
because the amount of money that Andrade has made right now throughout the course of matchroom boxing, that's exactly what he probably get when he fight Canelo Alvarez. Anyways,
yeah, he's been doing the same thing too. I mean, Volts is right about these guys that don't want it. I think they just all want that. They all want their name entered in the sweepstakes, and they think they're going to win, but they're not going to win. One guy's going to get lucky, and somebody has to do something in the meantime. But they're worried they might lose, and they'll lose it all. So, I mean, if he wants to keep fighting Sulecki, or Andre wants to fight Quigley or these guys, then keep doing it. But don't ask the fans to get.
No, Tyrone, he ain't got no motherfucking choice. He ain't got no motherfucking choice. What fight is matchroom boxing going to give him?
Yeah, but
don't fight anybody then.
No. He got to fight somebody because that's the contract. He got to fight somebody, and matchroom boxing ain't gave him shit. My bad, Laws. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, but like Tyrone's right though. What he's saying, if he wants to go and fight people like Selecki and that, well, that's what you do, man.
Like, look at how Gary Russell did it, right? Gary Russell was fighting once a year. Everybody cries.
Yeah, I agree that, Ty.
Everybody cried about Gary Russell not fighting, right? Everybody cried about Gary Russell not fighting more often and not unifying. But the reason, because guys didn't want to unify with him, so he would just fight once a year. He didn't have a contract where he had to fight a number of times anyway. He just fought whenever he had to keep that belt with the number one guy until somebody came and did it. He refused to fight.
But Tyrone, everybody don't have that same opportunity that he has. Andrade ain't got it, and not only with that, not only with that, what you have to say is, I said a long time ago, if you can't get the fight in the weight classes you in, nobody want to fight you. Might as well just move your ass up. And it goes on the same line what you said, that if you can't get these certain fights, blah blah blah, whoop, 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 you got to move on and do for yourself.
Yeah, but then, Mike, then at the same time, Mike, the shit talkers who fucking say that they want. Bruce, I've sent it to you again. Just try that, bro.
Like me, L Dub, and
just-
Watcher, we all thought that Charlo was going to fight Adamus at least. And instead, he's fighting Selecki. I don't know what that does for him. And that'll be another year. Does he just hope that he's going to get this Canelo fight? I mean, it doesn't.
He ain't got no choice.
Salute to you, Bruce. Just let me
Salute,
say this,
salute,
Mike,
RG.
before. Salute to you, OG. Before I bring Bruce in, let me just say this, Mike. I agree with what Tyrone's saying. Right. End of the day, I see boxing like this. You've got fighters, right, what are willing to get off their arse and go and chase them dangerous fights to make the money or make a legacy of the career. There's not many of them out there in boxing, but there is still a few of them. And then I agree with what you're saying, Mike. There's fighters who do want that, but they can't get that opportunity because Canelo don't want to fight him, i.e. Demetrius Andre. But then at the same time, Mike, I have to give Canelo credit because at least he is getting off his arse and fighting for world championship belts. Okay, we all know that he's taken an easy run. We know that. But at least he's trying to make himself, well, he is the face of boxing because he's the only one who's going out there doing it. You've got people like Charlo who were calling out fighters like David Benavidez, and then when Benavidez replies back to him, his fucking arse falls out.
Laws. You can't use it. You can't use these replies for negotiations. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. We have been watching boxing for so fucking long, Bruce, more than us, right? Yeah. We have to take into account that not all of these fights that we see out there that should happen and stuff like that are going to happen, and partially because is that boxing is literally crabs in the barrel. Everybody wants something, right? All these fighters have their own fucking agenda. These fighters here, they have their own ways about doing things and stuff like that, and it's not necessarily going to coexist or in line. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to in line with the next fighter right next to him, because me as a fighter, I have my agenda. I'm trying to do this. I'm thinking about going to WBA, the WBC, IBF, whatever. Which way my promoter is just to me is the easy way for getting the championship title or unifying or blah, blah, with the woo. And then when I get to a certain point, everybody that's fucking behind me, that's been next to me this whole time that I should be fighting, a lot of these guys ain't looking at them because they're looking at their progression. They're looking at their progression in their eyes is unifying and undisputed and money. And when you look at it overall across the board, even with Canelo Alvarez, even with him, it's always been risk reward and catch weight. And there's no thing you can necessarily say about it. We could say Gary Russell all goddamn day, but we know he should have moved up because nobody wants to fight him. We could say Tank Davis being cuddled by his peoples and stuff like that, but they had their own fucking hidden agenda. And Tank Davis in the situation that everybody will want to fucking fight him eventually. Even to this day, right now, people want to fight him just based off his fucking name. And Canelo is in a situation to where he can dictate all this stuff and everything's just easy. Everything is just easy. You can say unifying all day, but he can unify any given motherfucking day because at the end of the day, he's gonna be like, I got X amount of money for you. You're gonna take it or not. You can fight me, or you're gonna fight this guy, but eventually I'm gonna force you to fight me because I'm gonna make sure the sanctioning body is gonna call this fucking mandatory.
Yeah. Bruce, salute to you, OG. Let's hear what you've got to say, brother.
Now, Man, I have so much to say, Lars D. You don't know it, my brother. What are you drinking? A Budweiser up there, brother? You froze.
That's where I'm from. That's not a Budweiser. That's a Bloodweiser.
That's what it looks like. He looks like he's doing a commercial for the Anheuser-Busch right now with that frozen can right there. But man, yeah, boxing, bro. Ever since they started with multi belts, that's where it all clouded up. You know, I mean, you like shit. I'm gonna use Roy Jones as an example. He won the heavyweight championship, but who did he beat? He beat John Ruiz. Now, is John Ruiz even going to be mentioned beside and to anybody but us as a former heavyweight champion?
No.
I mean, you know, and Canelo, you know, just kind of the same thing. He found that super middleweight division. It was ripe for the picking. He went right through it, and you can't knock him for it because you know, he didn't duck anybody, and he was active 4 times a year. Nobody's fighting 4 times a year today.
No,
You know,
he's probably the biggest. He's the biggest name in the sport, hands down, and he's an example. But I mean,
you had to put an account for who he fought in that year as well. You had to put an account with the ducking. You had to ask to be franchised. You couldn't just take it. You had to petition to be franchised.
Know, all these crazy franchise and super belts, and I mean all the different organizations. It's to become an undisputed champion in a division is almost impossible today. And fighters, you know, they want to win a belt. They'll take the easiest fight available that they can get. And in the business of boxing, it's so confusing to somebody like me where I don't understand why this promotion can't deal with this promotion to make a fight. And you know, in-house fighters here. The zone fighters only fight the zone fighters. It's not only ridiculous, but it's confusing to the average boxing fan who's trying to understand what's going on, especially the newcomers, people that are getting into the game. I mean, shit. Every other sport has a Super Bowl, a World Series, you know, your Final Four, all except boxing. Boxing kind of runs at the whims of the promotion. If they want to have a big fight, then they'll put it together with their fighters. It's, you know, it's not an organized sport like other sports are, and it turns people off, man. It really, you know, it's not user friendly. You know, especially what's going on the internet. It's definitely not user friendly. But you know, boxing, it is what it is. I'm a boxing junkie. You know, and I said this before, man. You know, boxing is like heroin. You know, the junkies are going to go for it, whether it's diluted or cut. They're still going to go get it. You know, they're going to complain, but they're going to go back and get it again tomorrow. And that's what the state of boxing today. You know, we're boxing junkies, and you know, we go for our fix, whether it's the high grade stuff or whether it's the diluted shit they're giving us now. That's the fact, and that's, you know, I'm a boxing junkie, and bro, it is what it is. Stormy B, my brother, salute, man, salute to you, my brother.
Tyrone, you got anything?
no, man, it's exactly going that way. I mean, the last decent year I thought honestly was 2018. It was decent, but since then it's just, I mean, boxing has just been on this decline, and you know, eventually all of us are just gonna stop watching it, or we'll be dead. Anyways, man.
My man, look at yeah. I mean,
it's my medication. You know that, brother.
Yeah, I know it. I mean, but that's just how I am, man. Like when I can see fuckery, I just can't give no. I'm not, because I'm a type of fight fan. Like I want to see the fights I want to see. You know what I'm saying? And that's just point blank. Period. Like people can say, "Oh, it's unification or it's undisputed," but I look at it for what it actually, for me, for what it actually is to me. And when I see it's not done the right way, and they want to water it down and say this and the third, and where the case be, we all know who you fought. We all know who that guy was that had that belt. We all know who Charles Martin was when AJ fought. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he had a belt and all that stuff, but it wasn't like Charles Martin was out there trying to defend that belt against anybody else in that era at that time to lose that belt. You know, we
You know,
all know what
and,
it is.
and you know something, Michael? People aren't going to remember the Charles Martin and the Ortiz fight in 5 years, but and I don't even remember the fights that happened last month. But the fights that we talk about, the Ali fights, the Roy Jones fight, we remember those fights because they were the fights you wanted, like the best fought the best. And we're going to talk about them 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line. But the fights they're giving us now, it's like, show me what's next week, and we get on to talk about them, and you can't even remember who's fighting. It's so anticlimactic, so to speak.
Pretty much. Like who's gonna remember the Rocky Fielding fight 10 years from now? Ralph, you gotta have something. Like the way I put it is that these fighters know they have to give us a product. All of them. They know that they got to give us a product, and the product that a lot of these fighters are giving us is just based off of propaganda, based off of their name and their word. And stuff like that. Then they get in these fights, and then you see it, and you watching it. You're like, this fight ain't shit. It's just not. It's just like Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero, right? Yeah, he's probably the fight should happen based off of good faith of him pulling out for the December fight and all that stuff, but. He's gonna fucking get his ass. He's gonna get knocked the smooth fuck out.
You mean Tank? You mean Tank? Yeah.
Huh?
Do you mean
Tank?
Tank and Rolling.
Right.
Yeah, you said Devin Haney.
I mean Rolling.
But there's none of them jump out at you. That's a common mistake because they're just players in that fucking 135-pound division now.
Yeah.
Nobody's in my mind is the undisputed. You can say Kambosos is, but if somebody disputes it, it's not undisputed. That's I think that what is Canelo the only undisputed champ today? Josh Taylor, with an asterisk by his name.
You an asshole.
Who that, me?
Yeah, you just with the asterisk next to his name. I totally forgot about that shit.
It's boxing tonight, man. How can you possibly unify 4 different belts when every different sanctioning organizations has their different rules? They got their different sanctioning fees. I mean, shit. By the time the fighter gets his purse, he's lucky if it's going to be even noticeable with everything they're taking out of it. If they suspend it for something, they fine them, catch some PEDs. Their laws don't match up with the laws of the other federations. It's insane, man. At least the big sports, the basketball, baseball, football, they have a commissioner that they answer to, and he sets the rules out. He makes the championship games, the schedules. Boxing is not like that. Boxing is just so independently run. It's like, what fight are we going to see? Whatever one they decide to put together and give to us. We're not going to see the number 1 contender fighting the number 2 contender, and then those two fight the champion. Bro, I was lucky enough to talk to Benavides the other night. And I asked him, I asked him about Demetrius Andrade. I said, neither one of you guys have a belt right now. You're both scheduled for a fight. Wouldn't that be a great fight if you won? For you guys to get together and the winner of that to be mandatory for the 168. And he's like, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. And he started talking about the fights that him and Andrade are having. And well, if we see that, then let Canelo go fight who he wants. Let him go fight Bivol, and that's not a bad fight either. But this way, they stay active all the time. Even if not everybody's fighting Canelo, they have to fight each other. They have to weed out the weak, get the elite. And the only way to do that is by getting in the ring with each other. D-Ray, my brother.
I think that's a good fight, and hopefully it does happen.
Bro, I talked to freaking Benavides and he wants it. I know Mad Chad knows Demetrius Andrade's father, Paul. Give him a call. Maybe we can get the fucking thing signed.
Oh well, it says this is it for Demetrius Andrade's contract, and Edwin Hearn is out there saying he doesn't see him.
See, that's what gives me the headaches when they start mentioning the contract and.
Well, no. At that point, when even Edwin Hearn is out there saying that he don't see him reopen with Matchroom, he could just do whatever the fuck he wants in his next fight and fight Benavidez.
I would love to see it, man. It's almost one of the best fights that I can see being made in this year in any division.
Because they ain't been giving them nothing. They couldn't deliver the Billy Joe Sanders fight. After that shit didn't go down, it's been downhill. It's been pretty much downhill for him.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I'm from that old school where the fights can be conceived, they can be believed, they can be made.
Well,
You know, today too many lawyers involved, too much red tape, too many managers, promoters.
When you was watching boxing, right? When you was 35, when you was watching boxing, there was more than 5 heavy hitters in each weight division.
Yeah, bro. Heavy hitters all over the place.
You
Marvin
know what I'm saying?
Marvin Hagler was kicking ass back then. They all were.
It's like specs. It's like hit and miss. You know, if you look at 154, how many you got? You go to 168, how many people you got? You go to 147, how many people you got? You go to 130, 135, go whatever the case may you want to be. I'm talking about people having to actually compete every single time they get in the ring.
That's because they don't fight enough. If they fought enough, we'd see them compete. We see their strengths and their weaknesses, but we see them and then they're not fighting for 10 months. They're on the shelf. This happens, that happens.
If they was fighting like that, Bruce, you know now well they're gonna be fighting a whole bunch of tomato cans.
I'd rather see them fight tomato cans than being active.
You know.
I don't know. I know I'm in a time of boxing where I have to accept it because it's like the cut heroin. I'm a junkie and I got to go buy it. So it is what it is.
No, because you like
complaining about it does nothing.
You like me. I give fighters the benefit of the doubt, but you give boxing the benefit of the doubt. See what I'm saying?
What's that again?
I give fighters the benefit of the doubt all day, but it's like you give boxing the benefit of the doubt on what it is. But I give the fighters the benefit of the doubt on what it is.
Well, there's a lot more to box. Boxing is a vague general term, but the business of boxing, that's the ugly part of it. That's what prevents the fighters from fighting. That's what prevents the fights we want to see, the cross promotions. It's the business of boxing, and every fighter's got a contract. They've signed a contract with their own promoters. They have to go by their rules. I hate to keep saying back in the day, man, but in the glorious back in the day, if a fight wanted to be made, if Sugar Ray Leonard wanted to fight Marvin Hagler, Leonard he wasn't even fighting for a few years, but yet Hagler, bro, the fight was made. The Petronellis, Hagler said, get in that room and make this fight. And it was made because that's where not only the money was, but that's what boxing wanted to see. And today, how long have we wanted to see Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fight? How many years have we been calling for that fight?
Too long.
You think that would have happened back in the 80s, man? No way. All those guys, Donald Curry, Milton McCrory, Tommy Ayers, fucking Hunnigan, they all fought each other because that's what fighters do. Today, fighters are like part-time fighters. They're more YouTube personalities or fucking hosts at a fucking resort, whatever it may be, but they're not fighters. Back in the day, your job was boxing. So what did you do? You boxed. Today you do all kind of different fucking things. I don't know, man. It's not like it was, bro, and there's nothing I'm going to do about it. I'm just going to have to deal with it. That's all I'm saying.
So Bruce, so you wasn't know. What do you think about Dillian White versus Tyson Fury? This whole debacle.
Tyson Fury's a goofball. I mean, shit, man. The guy's he's held his belt now for how many? 2 years? Defended it 0 times. The only time he defended it was the rematch against Wilder. I mean, dude, the guy fights more in courts, more litigations, more fucking his fights always go to arbitration, to all kind of bullshit. If this guy fought more times in a ring than he does in a courtroom, then he'd have more respect from me. I think he's a liar and a goofball. Unfortunately, he's one of the characters in the heavyweight division. I'd like to see him get his head knocked off by Dillian White, but then again, I'd like to see him knock White's head off too. So I'm getting in for that fight. That's an event. Fucking Tyson Fury fighting, man. Fuck up. Bro, I don't hate any fighters whatsoever. I love all the fighters. I just want to see them fight each other, man. I got nothing personal against any of they've never done me any wrong, bro. You know, when the rent comes due, you think they're gonna step in and keep the wolf from the door? No, bro. This is entertainment. I love boxing, and it's full of characters, man. And I watch those characters. I don't hate them, man. I ride with them, bro. It's boxing.
He said, "No, Bruce. They won't come to pay your rent, but they do want your support."
Well, they get my support because I for one, I don't buy pay-per-views. I haven't bought a pay-per-view and shit, man, 30 years, man. And I stream everything. I haven't missed a fight. I don't, because it's so easy today. And any idiot with a tablet, a phone, a laptop, you can watch every fight. You don't have to pay these crazy pay-per-views. Bro, I'm on a fixed income on Social Security. My budget would look like if I dropped $80 a month on a pay-per-view. I'd have to stop like car insurance maybe, or something like the fucking cable bill. I mean, it just couldn't be done. And how can boxing expect that when they give us such trash fights and expect people to pay $80 to see a fight that I don't even know if I'd watch it if it was on ESPN on a night that there was a better fight on, or something else happening. It's out of hand, man. That's why I don't care, because I'm gonna stream it, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna complain about it, but they're not gonna get my fucking $80 for a pay-per-view that nobody's even gonna talk about in the next week, like Mario Barrios. That had to be the most comical pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life. Who the fuck is Mario Barrios? Damn. Sounds like somebody from Alice in Wonderland, Really?
Yeah. Yeah, just getting back to this, because I got froze out off my damn computer. I don't know what's up with my computer.
Yeah, what happened to you, brother?
I don't know. I went for have a swig of my beer and I got froze like that.
I know, man. I thought it was a commercial for Budweiser.
Yeah, I don't hate on Canelo, me. I don't hate on him because I think at the end of the day, Bruce, yeah, he's taken an easy route, but for me,
Exactly.
He's the only one who's fucking actually making a noise. Like you stated a great point before, Bruce. Which boxer's fighting 4 times a year? There ain't none, is there? Well,
And they're not absolute. They're not absolute bums. Like, I mean, I think Bivol is. Honestly, I think Bivol gives him more of a challenge.
Bro, weren't his last 4 opponents undefeated title holders?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
exactly, Bruce.
It's not the bum of the month club,
Yeah, they were, but look at those undefeated fighters.
Right.
Mike, you don't like Canelo, do you, Mike?
No, it's because I take it for what it is. Like you could fight undefeated fighters all you want to, but a lot of these, even including people that are not that boxers that are not that good, I've been undefeated at one point. You know what I'm saying? And happened to get a belt at one point. Like I said, like we could use Charles Martin, for example. Had a belt at one point, but we know he was going to keep it. We knew he wasn't a world beater. We knew he wasn't elite. We knew he wasn't great. He's having a hard time. He's having a hard time fighting people that are literally journeymen.
Yeah, but Mike, that could come down to one thing as well.
Okay, so who was Rocky Fielding then?
No, but what I'm trying to say to you, Mike, that could come down to one thing as well. He's lost fights to people who he should never have lost fights to, like Kawanaki.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I actually put money on that fight. I remember watching that live. I thought that Martin would win that.
He didn't come in the ring prepared. That's the reason why he didn't, and that's the reason why his last fight that's the reason why his last fight that he had, he came in there prepared. he's better than he ever looked in his whole boxing career, including how he went into the fight with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, he was probably in his best shape, and still things didn't go his way. I mean, that guy was Ortiz was a 3 or 4 to 1 on the favorite on the night, and that punch showed it.
And Ortiz is showing signs of.
Really he has no legs anymore.
I read today that they were considering Ortiz and fucking Areola. Excuse me, not Areola.
Ruiz. I think that's what they've been trying to work on that fight.
That would be
an
interesting fight, bro.
Yeah, I think that's the direction it's going.
Boxing 24 today.
Yeah, I think that's the direction it's going. The heavyweight division news is what? It's Fury White, AJ Usyk 2, Will Wilder come back. Those are the only 3 topics we see rinsed and repeated over and over and over and over again.
But there's a couple of doozies you could make in there. You still got Joe Joyce in there. You got Dubois in there. And what happened to Effie Ajagba now? I mean, even Frank Sanchez. Give him a fight, bro. If these guys just fight each other, make themselves some fucking money, bro. I mean, they're boxers.
We need a new
boxing today.
We need a new.
I need this to enjoy boxing today.
Well, Joe Joyce said he'd take the Ortiz fight. I'd rather see Joe Joyce versus Ortiz than Chris Arreola versus Ortiz.
Oh, that would be Ruiz versus Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola, please stay.
Good point, Mickey. Very good point. The thing is, though, like with Joe, the thing with Ortiz has been, I believe, has been frozen out a lot of his career.
I think he was been frozen out almost his entire career. I think even Wilder fought him too late. Honestly, like the guy, turned pro at 30, supposedly. Nobody wanted to go near him in 2013 or 2014. Everyone waited until he was much older.
But if he was such a sure thing, man, such a blue chipper, why didn't they get behind him? And why didn't they make David Ortiz a mandatory? Have him fight, fucking Wilder. Have him fight. Even now, have him fight.
I think he was mandatory for. In 2015, he was the interim WBA champion, but he trusted Mr. Hearn, and Mr. Hearn told him, he said, "Listen, if you step aside, you'll get the winner of AJ Klitschko." They gave him the money, and it never panned out. And
I meant Joshua, not Wilder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joshua.
He ended up fighting Dave Allen, didn't he?
Yeah, and then Wilder saw his chance to fight Ortiz, and that was a life and death battle. I mean, that was that, and I feel sad for Ortiz in a way. I mean, he turned pro way too late. What can he do? I mean, he had more skills than most of those guys. I think he has more skills than Fury, definitely. But I mean, he's so old.
He should have played it like Clubber Lang, bro. He should have just, I want that sucker. He's fighting bums. Man, fucking make some noise. You got the internet at your disposal. Fucking David Ortiz could make it, still can. Make some noise. Make fans demand to see some of these fights. But no.
The thing is, though, Bruce, even when the fans do, we don't get them, do we?
No, we don't, bro.
Well,
maybe we don't demand it.
Charlo, but I give you 2 examples, right? Last example, 3 examples. That's what Big Baby Miller did. That's what not so good. No, not even good. Christopher Lovejoy did.
That guy's awful.
And that's what Blair DeFair did. But you don't see any fighters out there that's even better than those guys really doing that type of thing, that are active out here, like literally like woodpeckering motherfuckers on their doors, like a woodpecker on your door, like just beating on it. You don't hear that.
Hell no. I mean, look at some of the things Ali, when he went to fucking Denver in the bus and fucking yelled outside Sonny Liston's house at 1:00 in the morning, man. I want you, Bear. I want you out here. He had a bullhorn on top of his bus, and I was in the fucking 60s. Yeah. Bro, you got a lot easier ways to do that with social media today, that you could just get everybody's demanding these fights. But I don't know, man. The fighters don't want to do it today. They're like Tyson was saying to Maul Charlo the other day on the show. Man, you got the platform here. You can call out David, the Mexican monster, David Benavides. Let's make that fight right now. And Charlo was like, Mike, you don't get it. Boxing's different now. We don't get personal anymore. There's managers to go through, and Tyson's like, he didn't want to hear that shit. Tyson goes, if Roberto Duran was here, he'd say, fuck you, suck my dick. I want and Charlo was.
He said, "No, I'd rather fight Canelo." Yeah, we know you'd rather fight Canelo. I'd like to fight Canelo for a payday,
The
but it
problem
doesn't mean
is,
it's going to happen.
Wants to fight Canelo.
It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
the problem is when people say stuff like that, who do you think they learned that from? Somebody told this dude,
like politicians.
somebody told this guy not to talk about people.
Flax, Mickey Dub,
Who they
facts.
fighting. Somebody told him that shit. Like I say
That's
all
a
the
great
time,
comment, that.
everything that Gervonta Tank Davis responds with, anybody that say talk to Al, that's a blanket statement of that. Let me go through my agent and see about the best possible way for me to talk about this situation. Because a lot of these guys they're getting told by somebody, don't bring people's names up. They're getting told by somebody, don't build nobody else's brand, worry about your own brand.
There on the
Yeah,
screen, it's
and
the same thing what we're talking about.
And Benavidez exposed that too. I remember he was talking about this. He said that a lot of these guys said,
comment, that, Mickey Dub.
talk to Al, or I was talking to Al last week. He said that's a lie. He said 95% of people have never even spoke to Al Heyman, don't even know how he looks like, the guys that are signed with him. He said, I've been world champ. I've only talked to him twice.
Yeah. DP Rocker, salute to you, bro. Yeah,
DP Rocker.
End of the day, I just see as boxing today, especially this heavyweight division. I don't speak about it a lot. Maybe on the lives I do, but I don't make videos about them because they're nothing but fucking divas. They all want fucking titles and keep their rows, but ain't no one want fucking fight no one. Well, Magic Man's put, yes, I saw a video the other day where Alan was asking a possible fight about Babich and he isn't ready. Do you know what, Well, Magic Man? Dave Allen needs to get his fucking head sorted out because he's all over the show, that fella. He's all over the show.
He retires, then he comes back, then he retires, then he comes back again. And
Yeah,
then
well, because think about it. Because look what Dave Allen is. Look what he has fought over his career. Now you saying you ain't ready for this dude? Something
he
right.
beat the brakes off Babich. Babich is bum. Alan Babich is pure bum.
Did you see his last fight? How he got hurt off that guy?
Yeah,
he just
got exposed. Before I get up out of here, because I'm going to have to get off in a bit because it's like 20 past midnight. Did any of you watch the Anna Vicent fight? Did you watch that, Ty?
No, I heard about it. I mean, I was talking about it with you the other week, right? I said that he's kind of had a career resurgence, but we have to see what he is with top guys again.
He iced that guy at the weekend.
That guy was a nobody.
Yeah, this one, yeah. He iced him in, what was it, 2 rounds or something?
Yeah. I think in the first round. I don't even think a guy was the first round.
Could have been the first round. Do you think that he'll get a title shot again, or do you think that he'll be ducked? So I think a lot of fighters duck him,
He's not going to get it from his area. Like the guys around him, the guy did they have Conor Benn, or he already beat Josh Kelly. I mean, he's not going to fight him. He'd have to come over here, or they would have to give him an offer over here. But
the other day on TV,
I don't even know if Virgil Ortiz will give him a fight. I don't think so.
Well, he was scheduled to fight Virgil Ortiz, and something went.
Well, they were mandated, and he went a different route.
Bricktop that he sent the contract, and Ortiz's team never responded to it.
Yeah.
Well, Magic, go on, Mike. I'll read.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the interview. There was a small British channel what was interviewing Virgil Ortiz, and they said to him, "How come you didn't end up fighting David Avavicent?" And he said, "Oh, that fight just didn't happen. It's later on down the line." And I was like, "What? Fucking hell!" Because I rate Virgil Ortiz. I think he's a good. I think he's going to be a world champion. I know he got rocked off. Is it green beans, green machine, whatever they call
Yeah.
it? But I thought he dealt with him. I like him. He's got a good. I tell you what, he's got a better fucking resume than Conor Ben.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That guy.
Is there anything? Let me read this. Babbage is a circus act. He keeps up the captive during the pandemic. Lol. Yeah. I don't think much. You know what? I made a video about Alan Babbage. Fuck me, I got slated the next day. I woke up, had loads of comments off people giving me shit. I was like, yeah, but I just see it for what he is. I don't think he is.
Because
Josh
that's
Kelly.
really a white boy.
I mean,
Really?
it's not. It's the same thing. They're doing the same thing with the other guy from here, Jared Anderson. I mean, Jared Anderson has more support overseas than he has in this country. We know he's not that. I mean, he's going to fight Christian
Facts, well,
Hammerneck.
Magic Man.
I mean,
No, not.
he's a scam artist. I mean, he's
No, not.
another guy who slaps with his punches. I'll be 40 before we have a real champion
I thought
from
Jared
this
Anderson
country.
said he was
I'm
injured.
telling you, that's 18 years from, or what, 16 years from now. Sorry.
You know what I said?
What?
I thought Jared Anderson said he was injured.
Did he say that recently?
Mm-hmm.
Like today or yesterday?
Like a couple days ago.
Oh, then I don't know. Then okay, then that fight's probably off. But he's another guy that they're trying to push who isn't that.
But Ty, don't you feel though like this is right? And on truth, this is how I feel as a boxing fan, right?
Will Magic
I'm
Man, he's
older
fighting
than
the
you.
Chinese guy. He's fighting Zhang Jinglang on the Bivol undercard
And the hell is
for the IBF mandatory.
get to fight him? Yeah, exactly. They ain't gonna put Ergovich in with Alan Babbage because Ergovich will knock the fuck out of Alan Babbage.
He's fighting the Chinese guy.
Yep.
Is he?
Yeah,
Ergovich will wipe the floor with him.
yeah. But go ahead. What were you saying?
I'll come back to it in a minute. I'll just read this comment from Mickey. He's put, Loz, you notice how a lot of UK fighters want to go straight to world title fights after a couple of fights. Yeah, they used to take the pride in. Yeah, exactly, Mick. Conor Ben's a prime example. They don't do the old blueprint no more. British title, European title, Commonwealth title, then go for a world title. Them days are gone now, Mickey. Them days are gone. No, ain't no one want to do that. There's only a handful of fighters who do that now. He's put thanks out. Yeah, me just to wrap this. Well, I'm not wrapping it up, but I'm going to get off in a bit. But
You ain't
me,
fucking going nowhere, Laws.
I hope he's off.
You lock that shit up right now. You ain't going no fucking where. When we want to stay on, we stay on as long as we fucking want.
I'll leave it open and let you boys carry on. Yeah, Mickey Dub, great comment. Absolutely agree with you there, bro. It's all about fast forwarding, and skipping. I mean, like you say, how was Conor Ben world ranked, when he's never fought
It's
for
a
an area?
finesse. It's a
Brit, yeah.
finesse. I mean, I saw you saw the play before any of us, and then when I saw remember I said something about the Vargas fight. That's what I said. Oh God, you already see it. Like he had trouble with that journeyman, right?
Yeah.
But then they're like, whoever did this, it wasn't Eddie Hearn going through all of the match. Whoever the matchmaker was, he needs a raise or a promotion because that was a masterstroke. I mean, they've gotten it where they've gotten the exact style and right guys who won't give him any trouble, but will get him heavily ranked.
Exactly.
And look where he is now. I mean, even we know it's a scam, but he's there. I mean, he's found his way into the ring rankings. He's number 10 on the ring. Have you seen that?
Who?
Exactly.
Conor Benn is number 10 on the ring ranking, so you can pull it up right now. It's a finesse. It's a finesse.
Ty, listen, bro. That's exactly what Mickey's just picked out. They've not gone area, British, Commonwealth, European. He's missed all them fucking belts or fighting for them belts and gone straight to the fucking world rankings. It's disgusting, mate. It's disgusting. And like you said, he will be strategically moved around the chessboard, ducking and dodging the big fighters over here because there's lads over here who want to fight him. David Anavison, Florian Marcoux, McKitson, Josh Kelly. There's fighters over here who want to fight him. No. We'll dig up fighters from over abroad who were former world champions or people who might have had a world title, been a world title contender. Chris fucking Algieri, who got finished 3, 4, 5 years ago off Errol Spence. They dug him up. Samuel Vargas. Oh my God, where the hell did they find him?
He lost again, apparently. Or 2 more times. He's pretty bad. And then Vargas and that Formella guy who's just, I think he was told not to punch.
He did 12 rounds with Porter.
Formella was told not to punch in both fights.
Wow. He did 12 rounds with Porter. But then this is what I mean, though, Ty. This is where I was going to come back to what I was just saying. Me, as a boxing fan, right, bro, when you talk about shit like this, Tyro, people hate on you because they think you're a hater. They think, you know what I mean? I've had some nasty fucking comments over the years. And probably why my channel never seems to grow is because I have lads on here or we talk shit. I'm not saying I'm right all the time. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying Mike's right. But what I'm trying to say is, as individual boxing fans and people in the chat, we are all allowed to express our opinions, whether it's right or wrong. If you think someone's, like Stormy said the other day, if any boxer is, like he was on about Jamal Charlo calling out David Benavidez, and then when David Benavidez responded, his arse went, he didn't want no. And Stormy said, if fighters are going to do that, or tweet on Twitter or Instagram that I'm fighting them, and then when that fighter doesn't know anything about it and responds, okay, let's get it on, and then all of a sudden their arse falls out. Stormy said, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to fucking put their neck on fucking block. But
you know why I lost?
Yeah, go on.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because fucking Charlo said if he can't get, these guys been talking behind the scenes, and that's the reason why that shit like that happens all the time. Crawford basically said if he can't get his fist fight, he wants the winner. He was standing on Charlo. Spence said if he can't get the Crawford fight, he's going to move up and fight Charlo. That's the reason why this shit is happening. Because people, they sit over here, they run their mouth too quick and don't have a good rebuttal when it does happen because they got too many side fucking hustles going on the side that nobody knows about. But when they sit up there and they talk about it, then you start to understand, well, not understand, you start to speculate that maybe something else is going on because we don't know what they're doing. But yeah, when you call somebody out, like Law said, then when they call you back out and you don't do nothing about that shit, and then you be quiet about it, this shit does not sit right with nobody. You can't do that shit out. If you can't do that shit in the streets, right? You can't fucking call nobody out in your hometown, right? And say you're gonna whoop their ass in your own local pub. I'm gonna meet you up right here, this and the third, and you don't show up.
Exactly, Mike. And I think us, Mike, as boxing fans, have got a right to express that. Because at the end of the day, Mike, like Bruce just said, Bruce hit a great note on there. I don't hate any boxers. I don't. Speaking about Tyson Fury, speaking about Trevor Bryant and all fighters early, people who might run this back or watch it might think, oh, he's just a hater. What shit's he talking about? He's biting. I don't hate no fighter. And I want the best for every fighter. I want them to make money. I want them to be safe. I want them to, go home to the kids and the family at the end of the night. But what I also want is that you have signed up to be a prize fighter. That means entertaining the fans. I'm not saying you have to sign for every fight what the fans want, but at least give the fans
A product.
something. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Because at the end of the day, it's people like me, you, the people in the chat, and all the other people around the world who put that money for the pay-per-views, the tickets, whatever, the merchandise, whatever, the fights. We put that money in their fucking back pocket. And that's all I can really say on it.
That's like me, you and Tyrone. Like y'all didn't agree with me with the Canelo thing, and then me out here calling you all kind of fucking names and stupid and coons and staying on quote. At the end of the day, when we all fucking suffering, we all fucking suffering. See what I'm saying? Because we not getting the fights that we want to get, but at the end of the day, when we watch the fights, we have two options. Are we entertained at the end of the night or are we not?
Exactly, Mike. Exactly.
Like Danny Jacobs didn't fight the way I wanted him to fight with Canelo, but I was entertained at the end of the night.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. Mike, at the end of the day, bro, that's it. You can't sum it up no more than that. You just want to, Saturday night, you just want to switch that TV on. I don't watch all the fights because my son's on the Xbox and stuff like that, but there'll be a couple of fights I'll pick out. And I'll say to our RV, let us just watch this, and then you can chuck the Xbox back on. And I just think, yeah, man, that was a damn good fight. Like the other week, the Michael Collin and Lee Wood fight. I'd heard through the week that was going to be fight of the year now, so, yeah, whatever. Man, I put the fight on, and I ain't bounced around on the edge of that sofa like that for a long time, with just pure excitement of it being an absolute war and two fighters putting everything on the line for the fans, for themselves, and entertaining everyone. That's what boxing won that night. The fans won that night. That's what boxing should be. But it seems to these days, bro, they all just want to use, like Blood says, Twitter fingers and I don't know, just absolute shite. Is there anything you want to cap on before I get up out of here, Mike? Because I'm getting ready to close down now.
You hear about Tyrone's boy Jarrell Miller? Since they both live weight, that's Tyrone's boy.
Dusty. Do you know what though, Mike? As much as I've given Jarrell Miller shit over the years, I think boxing needs someone like him because, okay, well, they don't need a drugs cheat. They definitely don't need that.
So you're basically saying that everybody's too nice to each other?
Yeah, because at least Miller's a shit talker, and I do believe Miller. I mean, it's hard.
He's a lunchbox with legs and arms.
That's fucked up.
But honestly, he would beat the hell out of Big Baby Anderson. He would show him who's the real Big Baby.
Well, that's what I mean. That fight's got to happen somewhere down the line because they both carry the same name.
I don't think they ever gonna make that. I think they're gonna try to get that dude. I think they're gonna try to get Big Baby Anderson up out of the way and avoid him because that dude ain't got no defense. And that shell, that's whatever that shell is, whatever that is he do, it ain't gonna fucking work with everything. He's just getting lucky with that shit.
And then they have the new guy, who's the guy, Richard Torres. I mean, he's a nice guy. I mean, I think me and him have the same degree, but like, he doesn't belong into. They're trying to put him as the new Tommy Morrison.
Oh, yeah, that's that dude. Yeah, that's right.
he's so slow. I mean, he's fighting at a weight he shouldn't be fighting at. He's doing it because of the money. It just doesn't go. It won't go well for him. I mean, some of these other guys.
Remember what blood boxing said a long time ago. Before everybody else said this, if you're at a certain age and you play football or basketball and you this tall, you might as well get in the fight and run your motherfucking mouth because the way it is right now, any given Saturday, Jared Anderson, Michael Hunter, Coffee, and all the other guys, they can lose.
Yeah.
And you can take
salute to you, Reggie. My bad, Michael, just shouting salute to Reggie.
Oh, yeah, what's up, Reg? What's happening? My old California brother right there.
Yeah, both from California. Where are you from, Mike? San Diego, is he?
Yeah, San Diego. He up over there in LA. He been on Fred's ass lately.
Oh, I know. I've been watching some of them.
He got the video with the
Reggie's been on a mission from the gods, man.
He got the video with the Oreo. The bounty bar.
That fucking made me laugh. Where he put his that Oreo biscuit over his face. Was it an Oreo biscuit or something?
You know what? I always wondered why Kenny Porter wanted to put his foot in his ass.
Was it something about a stripper or something that they had? I mean, I heard about this years ago that they were using the same side chick or something like that.
Yeah, it was about a stripper or escort, whatever you want to call it.
James in the house.
And maybe Fred went after Kenny Porter and was eating the box and thought it was wet, but it was something else.
Oh.
Maybe it was that.
I remember seeing that, yeah.
Oh.
Maybe it was that, but that dude's off the chain, man. I
forgot
doing all that stuff, man, but some just seems right.
Biscuits in the that's right, yeah, biscuits. That's right, Reggie. Right, I'm gonna get up out of here because
Hey.
Yeah, Michael, I've got
because last Saturday your ass was up how long?
I've been up this morning since 6 o'clock. It's 20 to 1 at night over here.
No, I ain't trying to hear that shit because when boxing was going on last Saturday, your ass was up how long?
I fell asleep in the end, Mike.
Your ass went to the store to go get more beer.
No, that was during the day, Mike. That was during the day. And then I tried to stay up for that Belanga fight. I tried. No. When I was saying I was going to get some beer, that was mid-afternoon. And then I got some beer and I tried to stay up for the Belanga fight, mate. And I was gone, mate.
Sure. How do you think we feel when they I don't understand why they do it, but the main event got to start before 11, man. It's
ridiculous over here, Mike.
They need to do like 10, at least 10:30, at least 10 o'clock main event.
Do you know what, Mike? The only good thing about it over here, the only thing what actually works out for us over here is if you're actually like a hardcore boxing fan, you can watch all the British fights, and then basically by the time that the British fights finish, the American fights start. So if you're able to stay up somehow, you can basically just watch a whole night of just like 8 hours, 9 hours of constant boxing, flipping between the channels because we have the Zone and BT could be on, and then straight after it could be ESPN and Fox. Mickey's put salute out to you, Loz. Get some kit, mate, and out to the chat. Yeah, salute to you, Mickey. Yeah, I'm going to close down, Mike, because I'm fucking rabbiting on now. My eyes are burning. But
you got to smoke that weed with Bruce.
I don't smoke weed, man. Them days are well gone. I was 28 when I packed that shit in. I'm 46 this year.
Old fucker.
Yeah, but still flexing in that gym, Michael. Still going. Tyrone, I want to speak to you one day. I would like to do a live with you talking
When
about
it's so
the
funny
gym.
about the gym, I ain't lift weights in a year.
Damn.
And this
I've
dude
been
was like,
tonight, me, bro.
this dude at my job was like,
Tonight, me.
man,
D-Ray,
you can
salute to you,
barely.
bro.
He was telling me, he was asking me a question about lifting weights. And I was like, so what are you doing with the dumbbells? He's like, I can only press 85-pound dumbbells. I looked at him, I was like, I was like, how much you weigh? He was like 195. I looked at his arms, I was like, 95. I was like 85-pound dumbbells. I was like, went back there, I was like, no, nothing. I went back there, I picked the 90s off of the shelf, walked them over to the bench, put them on my knees, and I lifted them up 10 times. And he was like, what the fuck? I was like, man, and I looked at him and I was like, see, the problem is because I was out there in the field while you was in the house warming Master's bed up the whole time.
Yeah. It's all about technique, though, isn't it? Really. I mean, to be fair, mate, you can get sort of some lads who are like really big, man, and they can lift some good shit, but they ain't got no fucking technique, man.
No, I ain't got no technique. I'm just 190, but I don't. Every time when I lift weights, I don't take shit. I don't take protein powder, no none of that.
Oh,
You know,
I'm not fucking out.
I
Three
do a lot
times
of
a day,
yard
I'm
work.
on protein powder.
I do a lot of yard work. Even when football season come, I don't
Well,
lift weights.
Magic Man, salute to you, good bro. Right, Mike, I'm going to get up out of here.
All
Well,
right,
salute, bro. Tyrone, yeah, one day, me, you, I'd like to get Bruce Goes on, and you, Mike, if you want to talk about it. But I'd love to talk about bodybuilding and stuff like that. I've been watching Bruce's channels when he does it. It's interesting.
shit, I come on, but Bruce and Tyrone, they got me on that. I ain't got nothing to give you.
Yeah. Tyrone, salute to you, brother. Thanks for coming through.
Yep.
Michael, salute to you.
Yeah.
Stay safe, and you out there, Bruce, and you, Tyrone. And everyone
right.
in the chat, Mickey Dub, Reggie, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, Will Magic Man, Bruce Goes, D Ray, everyone, Stormy B, man. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I'm out of here, man. I've got to go sleep. My bed's calling me. I'll catch you next Friday. Peace out.
Stay off of Pornhub.